Welcome to Elevate Your Mindset Motivation Media Channel. I'm here with
Atif Abbas.
Altif Abbas, and I'm Chris Cuellar, your host today. Just kidding. All right, so we're just here to talk. I don't have anything to talk about. We're just going to cover several different things that he doesn't have a clue about what I'm about to ask. So I'm going to give you a 1 second brief. What does being a man to you mean?
Being a man, to me, I think one of the biggest things is following through on your word. You have to walk it like you talk it, right? So most people kind of take that type of stuff for granted. It's just kind of being true, honest, stepping with courage, everything that's kind of masculine in this world. I think that's just like what the definition of a man is, if I was to kind of simplify it.
In what you do in business, what do you think are the components of being successful in business?
Just to kind of piggyback off of what I just said, it's just kind of following through, being able to take courageous leaps, taking that risk, and maybe just building relationships based off those two things. Taking chances and following through on what you said you would do. So I think that those two things are kind of like the pillars, two of the main pillars of what it takes to be successful in business, if you ask me.
So Altif, what do you do for a living?
So I'm a mortgage broker. I work here at Hometown Lending. I help people, anything mortgage transaction related, whether that's buying a new home, refinancing your current mortgage. I help realtors, close their deals, marketing, all types of stuff that, like I said, if it has to do with the house, I'm kind of a hub or a central part of that real estate, venture, if you will.
What is something that is new to you that you think every person that has the ability to buy a house, what they should know about a product, maybe a tip or a trick? What do you think everyone needs to know about today?
I think so. There's two different ways you can approach on expanding your real estate networking business, right? You can be the type of person that goes and buys leads, try to convert those leads, whether that's taking in phone calls, reaching out to cold calling, agents, buyers, whatever. I think the biggest thing, just to kind of generally look at it, if you can find a way to solve people's problems, I think that's the easiest way to become a networking, machine. You go out, you pinpoint where people's bottlenecks are, what their problems are, why are they not generating, and if you can make something easier, more attractive, help someone close more transactions, whatever the case is, I think that is just a great way to approach being a real estate partner or a referral partner.
What would you suggest to someone that's wanted to be an investor, but maybe their finances or maybe the way they file their taxes hasn't allowed them to be an investor? What kind of products or recommendations would you make to them?
Yeah, so if you have a non-traditional outlook on the way you operate your business and your income, I think looking at working with the broker like ourselves here at Hometown Lending, we offer all types of stuff that are non-traditional, creative financing. We have DSCR loans, we have profit and loss statement loans, we have bank statement loans. These are all ways that you can get financing and get approved without support using tax returns that you might not be able to show income on. So those are just outside the box thinking methods that you can kind of, go at it with a creative approach, basically.
I love that. With that being said, you keep referencing yourself as a broker. Call me naive. What is a broker versus a bank?
So a broker is where I have the network of different lenders. We have access to over 180 different investors and banks. The difference is we're not tied or married to one bank, one rate sheet, one portfolio of programs. We have the ability to shop you across the board, figure out which bank is going to give you the best terms and, either if it's pricing or specific product for that specific situation. And in most cases, when you go to a direct bank or lender, they're going to have their one rate sheet that they're tied to. And most of these banks, they kind of bake in their fees into these rates, which is why when you go down the street to a direct bank or lender, their rates are going to be a little bit higher because they have a bottom line profit margin they're trying to make, marketing costs, bigger companies, they have to make their bottom line profit. Us, on the other hand, we get to remove all of that and give you a true rate sheet to where we are more competitive and we're not just tied to one, scenario. We can kind of look at it across the board for you.
I like that. With that being said, I used to, being in the real estate mortgage business growing up, the banks always said, "Oh, stay away from brokers. They cost so much more." What's the truth about that?
I think that is a false narrative, man, because our costs are very low. We typically only charge, maybe like one or two costs, like for underwriting. You're going to have your title fees. Those are going to be customary for any mortgage transaction. That's just, the price of the deal. But other than that, we don't charge anything, excessive. If you want to buy down your rate, we have much more competitive pricing on rate buy downs. But if you're dealing with a true broker, there shouldn't be any excessive fees in the transaction.
So tell me this, what is the trick or how are y'all doing it? Because when my clients come to y'all versus like their local bank, y'all's rates are so much better price. How are y'all able to get better pricing on rates versus, all the big dogs?
It's a good question, man. Generally, like genuinely speaking, we get these lenders and banks to earn our business, right? They want us to work with them. So they offer us much more competitive rate sheets. If I was to take you, let's just say we did an apples to apples comparison with a bank or lender that I wanted to use, right? And you go and shop with that exact bank, but through their retail channel, their direct to consumer channel, our rates are going to be better because we're not adding in those big fees that I was talking about.
The brick and mortar cost and everything.
Exactly. They have to make that profit margin. So their rate sheet's going to be a lot higher, even if it's the same bank, apples to apples comparison.
You ready for this one?
Go ahead.
What's your favorite food?
Honestly, so I am very big on, it's pretty boring, but rice and chicken, man.
Rice and chicken.
Brown rice, grilled chicken. I'm kind of trying to lead up for the summer, but that's always been my bread and butter, right?
So when trying to get ready for the bikini or bathing suit season, what's your favorite meal?
That's a good one, man. You caught me off guard with that. Let's say I love pizza. Pizza's good.
Pizza's my favorite. We need to start a pizza network.
Let's do it, man. We should get a pizza oven in the kitchen.
Let's go. What are the things that you see coming over the next 12 months in the mortgage and real estate industry here in Texas?
Well, I think rates, if we're just going to talk, generally speaking in the market, I think rates are going to be coming down. There's going to be a lot of movement on, homeowners are going to be more ready and, gearing to get off that fence that they're on once they see the rates are better and there's better pricing on getting into these homes, which will increase the value in properties because now you have, more buyers.
Yeah.
So that's the hope. We do hope rates do come down, values go up on homes, and the whole goal is just to kind of help as many people as we can.
To piggyback off of that, I come across a lot of renters, people that are in apartments or just renting and they want to become first-time home buyers. If you had one quick tip, look into that lens right there. What's that tip for the first-time home buyer? For the first-time home buyer, if I can give you a tip, do the math on how much money you are spending every month that is not going towards your equity. I had a client, here's a testimonial. One of my clients in the past had a home that they were renting. The home owner was able to know, they were getting to the point that they wanted to sell the home. It was just kind of a conversation in passing where they were like, well, we'll buy the house from you. So they lived in the property for 10 years. We did the math basically on every monthly payment they made for those 10 years, $200,000 went down the drain that could have been their equity. So if you want to just do the math of how much money you're not spending, sure, a 6 or 7% interest rate might sound scary as a mortgage, but you know what you're paying when you're renting? 100%. So if someone's renting for 5+ years, they should really start looking into or considering home ownership and get to a lender as quick as possible.
100%. And you might not know how easy it is to get into a home. I think it's worth at least reaching out to see what you're pre-approved for, if you're qualified, and those numbers start becoming a little bit more real, and I think that's the best first step.
So let's go back on a personal note. Do you have any children?
Not yet.
You a special lady?
Not yet.
So you're lucky?
I didn't say I was looking, I just said not yet.
So let's go back to the topic of men, relationships, business. What is a key component that you believe that you've learned either from a father figure or a mentor, something that relates in business and in relationships? What's a core factor in being successful while being masculine in all these categories?
I think based off my experience, and I'm practicing it right now, patience. I think patience is very important. I think people rush to decisions a little bit too quickly. People are just kind of scared to be alone or scared to be in their thoughts, or they think like they have to react. You don't always have to react. I think coming up with the confidence and I think it's more confident to not act, you ask me. So patience can be applied towards real life, interactions in business. I think that's a very key core value. Patience is a virtue, is what they say.
I love that. Well, anything you got for me at this point?
Not much. What's your favorite food? What do you like to
It's
eat?
pizza.
Pizza?
It is.
You just stole my answer, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I appreciate your time.